Hey, welcome back to the show. I'm Selena, and I'm really glad you decided to tune in today. There's something heavy on my heart that I think we need to sit with for a while, honestly. Today's episode is a little different. It's a bit heavier than our usual topics, but it's also incredibly important. We're going to talk about depression, and not just the version you see in medical journals. I want to talk about the real, lived-in way that a lot of us actually experience it. Have you ever had those days where everything looks perfect on paper, but inside, it feels like the color has been drained out? It's like you're watching your own life through a thick pane of glass. You see people moving, you see yourself talking, but you don't really feel there. It's a strange, isolating kind of displacement, isn't it? The thing is, depression isn't always obvious. It's not always the cinematic version where someone is crying uncontrollably or staying in bed for weeks on end. Sometimes it's much more subtle and quiet than that. Sometimes it looks like going to work, hitting your deadlines, and answering texts with the right emojis. It looks like smiling at the grocery store clerk while feeling completely and utterly empty underneath it all. I call it the functional mask. You're performing the role of you, but the you who usually feels things is somewhere else, hidden behind a heavy curtain. It takes an incredible amount of energy just to keep that mask up. By the time you get home, you're not just tired, you're depleted. It's a bone-deep exhaustion that sleep doesn't seem to fix. Have you ever felt that? Waking up after 8 hours and feeling like you haven't slept in days? It's like your battery isn't just low, it's actually incapable of holding a charge. And that's where the frustration starts to creep in. You start wondering why you can't just snap out of it or try harder. But you can't try harder your way out of a biological and emotional fog. It's like trying to run a marathon through waist-deep mud. Every single movement, every single thought requires 10 times the effort it usually does. Think about the smallest things: showering, making a sandwich, responding to a friend who just wants to check in. When you're in that space, those tasks don't feel like chores. They feel like insurmountable mountains. And then there's the loss of interest. You know, that thing where the hobbies you used to love suddenly feel like work? That book you were excited to read? It just sits there. That music you loved? It sounds like noise. It's a disconnection from pleasure, a disconnection from the things that make life feel vibrant. It's like the world has been turned to grayscale, and you're the only one who can't see the light anymore. It's heavy, Selena. One of the absolute hardest parts of this whole experience is trying to explain it to someone who has never felt it. How do you describe a void? How do you explain that you're sad without a specific reason? Because from the outside, everything might look fine. You have a job, you have friends, you have a roof over your head. So when someone asks, "What's wrong?" and you say, "I don't know," it feels like a failure. But that's the thing about depression. It doesn't always need a reason to exist. It's not just a reaction to a bad event. Sometimes it's just a state of being that settles over you like a cold, damp blanket. And because it's so hard to explain, we often stop trying. We retreat. We pull back from the people who love us because we don't want to be a burden, or we're tired of seeing the fix-it look in their eyes. Let's talk about the guilt for a second, because that's a huge part of this. The guilt of feeling like you should be doing better. The guilt of feeling like you should be more grateful for what you have. We tell ourselves these stories, don't we? I have no right to feel this way. Other people have it so much worse. But listen to me. Pain is not a competition. Your struggle doesn't need to be worse to be valid. You don't have to earn the right to feel what you're feeling. If you were physically injured, you wouldn't tell yourself you didn't have the right to feel pain just because someone else had a more severe injury. Depression is a real, physiological, and emotional weight. It is not a character flaw. It is not a sign of weakness. In fact, if you are carrying that weight and still showing up to life, that is the definition of strength. I really want you to hear that part clearly. You are not broken. You are dealing with something heavy, and you are surviving it every single day. That counts for so much more than you give yourself credit for. If you're in the middle of it right now, I know how isolating it feels. Your mind is probably telling you that you're alone in this. It's telling you that no one gets it, or that people would be better off without your moodiness. But your mind is lying to you. Depression is a master of deception. It whispers things to make you stay isolated because isolation is where it thrives. It wants you to stay in the dark, away from the light of connection. The truth is, there are so many of us who understand. There are people who care about you deeply, even if it feels impossible to believe that right now. You are part of a community of survivors, even if you don't see them. So, how do we move forward? Well, first, we have to acknowledge that healing isn't instant. It's not like a light switch you can just flip. It's more like a slow, messy, nonlinear journey through a forest. Some days you'll take 3 steps forward. Other days, you'll feel like you've slid 5 steps back. And that's okay. That is part of the process. It's not about being cured overnight. It's about making it through the next hour. Sometimes, a win looks like getting out of bed when you really didn't think you could. Sometimes it's just drinking a glass of water or finally answering that one text you've been dreading for 3 days. All of those things count. Every single one of them. We have to stop minimizing our small victories. When you're fighting an internal war, just existing is a victory. Please, give yourself permission to celebrate the tiny things. I want to offer a try this moment for you today. If things feel overwhelming, don't look at the whole week. Don't even look at the whole day. Just look at the next 10 minutes. What is one small thing you can do for yourself? Maybe it's just stepping outside for 60 seconds to feel the air on your face. Maybe it's washing one dish. Or maybe it's just taking 3 deep breaths and reminding yourself, I am here, and I am doing my best. And if you can, reach out. I know it's the hardest thing to do when you're low, but even just admitting to one person, hey, I'm really struggling right now, can break the seal of isolation just a little bit. You don't need to have a solution. You don't need to have a plan. You just need to be seen. There is a profound power in being seen in your messiness, without the mask, and being told that you are still loved. Now, I also want to speak to those of you who are on the outside. Maybe you love someone who is dealing with depression. Maybe you're watching them disappear, and you feel helpless. I know that's hard too. Your first instinct might be to try and fix it. You want to offer advice, or tell them to look on the bright side, or suggest a new diet or exercise routine. And while that comes from a place of love, it often isn't what they need. What they need is for you to sit with them in the dark. They need you to be patient. They need you to show up and just be there. Listening without judgment is one of the greatest gifts you can ever give. Just saying, I don't fully understand what you're going through, but I'm here and I'm not going anywhere, can be a lifeline. You don't have to have the right words. Your presence is the word. Check on your people, even the ones who seem like they have it all together, especially the ones who are always the strong ones. Depression can be very quiet, and sometimes the loudest cry for help is silence. We're coming to the end of our time today, but I want to leave you with this thought. Depression is a chapter, but it is not the whole book. It's a heavy, difficult chapter, but the story is still being written. If you're struggling, please reach out to a professional. There are therapists, counselors, and helplines that are there because they want to help you navigate this. There is no shame in needing a guide through the woods. You are valuable, you are needed, and the world is better with you in it, even on the days when you can't see that for yourself. I truly believe that, and I hope you can start to believe it too, bit by bit. Thank you for sitting with me today. It wasn't an easy conversation, but it was a necessary one. Take things one moment at a time. Be gentle with yourself. You're doing a lot more than you think you are. Seriously, just breathe. If all you did today was survive, you've done enough. I'm proud of you for that. I mean it. It takes a lot of guts to keep going when the lights feel like they've gone out. I'll be back with you soon. Until then, remember that you aren't alone, and it's okay to not be okay. We're all just walking each other home, right? Take care of yourself, and I'll talk to you next time. Actually, before I go, I want to leave you with one final thought. Think of your energy like a garden. Some seasons are for blooming, and some are for resting and being dormant. This might just be a dormant season. The roots are still there. The potential for growth is still there. You're just underground for a bit. Don't hate the soil, just wait for the rain. It's going to be okay, I promise. Bye for now. Oh, and one more thing. If you found this helpful, maybe share it with someone who might need to hear it. You never know who is struggling in silence. Let's keep the conversation going. Take care. Seriously, you've got this. One step, one breath, one day at a time. Selena out.